CNN News 18 with me, Uday Singrana. How does one go about living life in lockdown? Ask the experts and call us at 0120-4341895. That's the number. You can call us live on this broadcast. Joining us from Delhi, the national capital, is Sagar Gupta. Joining us from Guwahati in Assam, we've got my colleague Karishma Hasnat. Let's go across to both of them for more updates on what the situation looks like on the ground. Coming to you first, Sagar. You know, Arvind Kejriwal was among the first chief ministers to tweet after the Prime Minister's address to the nation, and he spoke about making sure that essential supplies are sent out to people. He spoke about giving allowances to daily wage earners. But has that prevented panic buying as far as the national capital is concerned?
Well, in the last Prime Minister's address, and soon after it got over, we saw those images and visuals of people scrambling out to take up this stock. Why I'm using the word stock? Because essential services and essential commodities have been available, will be available. So, but they're thinking in the atmosphere of uncertainty, people say that, they do not know whether this is going to convert into
curfew or may stop the supplies, the movement of supplies, and fearing that the people scrambled out to take the stock and maximum stock as they can in the markets. However, there was clarification coming out from none other than the Ministry of Home Affairs that essential commodities, essential services will be available at all times. In fact, one interesting thing you just talked about, Chief Minister of Delhi, he was one of the first people, chief ministers across the states, and Kerala Chief Minister, if I take him as well, to act upon this. First of all, he said that 25% public transport will be available, but then he realized that this cannot happen, so he banned all the public transport. Whatever is being decided in the national capital by the state and the central government, and we've been speaking over this a lot of times, will affect the lives of the people living in adjoining states, the state of Haryana, the state of Punjab, the state of Uttar Pradesh. And just to leave it at that point, Yogi Adityanath had said, and because he might have also seen those visuals of people coming out, for example, we say in Gautam Budh Nagar or in Ghaziabad, and after which he announced that, the people do not have to, and this is of course not for one day, but for other 21 days as well. He said that people do not have to go to their shops or to collect anything. The things and the commodities and all these things would reach to them, will reach at their doorstep. And I'm hearing 10,000 vehicles so far have already been booked by UP government to supply commodities to people in societies and all the other places where
Right. So state governments are in fact supporting the centre's lockdown, asking people to stay indoors as well. This is, of course, the view from Delhi and Uttar Pradesh. But what about the state of Assam? Karishma, walk us through how the state government in Assam plans to support and complement the lockdown that was announced by the Prime Minister last night.
Well, Uday, Assam has been in a state of lockdown since yesterday 6 p.m. and this was to continue till midnight of March 31. In fact, the other northeastern states were also in a state of total or partial lockdown. But with Prime Minister Narendra Modi announcing of the 21-day total shutdown across the country, the state government here is all set to implement it fiercely, strongly, amid tighter and stringent restrictions. What we see around in the streets of Guwahati, empty streets today, no public or private transport plying on the roads except for essential services. We saw a few garbage dumping trucks. We saw ambulances plying on the streets. And here we also see security personnel being deployed to ask people why are they out on the roads, because most of these people are out to avail essential services. Some are on the way to the hospital or the pharmacies, because yesterday too we saw people thronging the supermarket, the grocery stores, the pharmacies. Even as the government has been saying not to panic or overbuy, people had been found stockpiling. But today we see totally empty streets. A few pharmacies are open around the corner, but even the neighborhood kirana shop, the ration store, is shut. And security personnel here are asking people as to why they're out on the streets and if someone is found like just to taking a joyride around, they have been sent back. Let's talk to some of. We'll try to have a word with the officer here. साहब आपसे पूछना चाहेंगे कितने लोगों को आपने घर भेजा वापस अब तक?
यार यहाँ से कम 20-22 आदमी को तो भेजा है रिटर्न।
और किस लिए वो लोग आए थे?
वो कुछ सामान के लिए आए थे, दुकान तो बंद है, वो नहीं जानते हैं, वो वापस भेज दिए घर उनको।
जी, और घूमने भी आए थे क्या?
नहीं, घूमने कोई नहीं आया था।
ओके।
वो सामान के लिए दुकान में आया था, इसे समझा के उनको ये कर दिए, रिटर्न कर दिए।
ठीक है, तो these are people on the front line. Sanitation workers are out on the streets because, of course, the city has to be kept clean. Sanitation exercises, fumigation exercises are being carried out across the state of Guwahati. Also in other parts of Northeast, we see the same scenario. But what I see around me, Uday, I can tell you that most of the people have welcomed these restrictions. Though drastic measures, but people seem to not mind house arrest. Of course, this is a standard practice followed across the country now in different countries. But yes, of course, some are there to flout the rules, and the government has strictly said that these people would be dealt with. In fact, we heard one of the security personnel telling a commuter that घर में जाओ, घर का खाना खाओ, बाहर आके जेल का खाना खाना पड़ेगा. So these are some of the drastic measures being applied, but people seem seemingly welcoming the restrictions. If I can show you, sanitation workers, are out on the streets. So yes, as of now, empty streets are what we see around.
All right, that's good to know. That's good to know that people are following the lockdown, at least as far as Guwahati and Delhi are concerned. Thank you so much, Sagar and Karishma, for joining us with the updates. Let me now welcome our guest, Dr. Sapna Jain. She's an associate professor at the Alabama State University. Let's go across to Dr. Sapna Jain for more perspective on what the COVID-19 crisis looks like, globally speaking. Dr. Jain, good morning and thank you for speaking to CNN News 18. I guess what a lot of people want to know is that this crisis has gone on for so long now. Is the worst yet to come? But I believe we have some problem with the audio as far as Dr. Jain is concerned. We'll try and correct that audio. Of course, 196 countries around the world are struggling with the COVID-19 crisis. India has now taken drastic measures, which were announced yesterday in the Prime Minister's address to the nation at 8 p.m. He came and spoke to the nation and said that India would be implementing a 21-day lockdown across the country. We've seen a Janta curfew, a voluntary Janta curfew and partial curfews. Now we have a state of total lockdown. Dr. Sapna Jain is back with us. Let's go across to her for more perspective as well. Dr. Jain, I was asking you, do you believe, in your expert opinion, that the worst is still ahead of us as far as COVID-19 is concerned, globally speaking, because the United States is now emerging as the new epicenter of the virus?
Absolutely. So I believe the future of the pandemic, to a great extent, will be determined by what will happen in the countries with large population and dense population such as India. So it's really important that India continues to take aggressive action, and at the public health level and at the level of society, and contain and control and suppress this disease. So it really largely depends on how India and countries such as India with large population and with the density of population like India, how they deal with it. So I definitely see that. And here in the United States, different parts of the country is seeing different levels of coronavirus activity. So community spread is on the acceleration phase. Duration and severity will largely depend on public health response and also on how public respond. As in, we really need to take social distancing really seriously. And that's the only viable option with us. There is no cure, there is no vaccine or medicine for this virus. So the only cure is the social distancing. And I would say, like, Indian government, PM Modi ji is working very hard, and it's a hard decision to take to shut down everything for 21 days. It'll have its consequences. But we really don't have an option at this point. So definitely, I see it as a positive move. And I would also say that, we should also avoid speculation and rumors at this time, and also avoid panic buying, because if everybody hoards in the grocery stores and shops, then the whole purpose will be forfeited. So this social distancing thing has to be taken seriously if we want to really make this a success.
All right. So you're absolutely right in talking about how it's the big population centers such as India, such as other countries like Brazil as well, how they tackle the crisis. That is what will determine the future of the COVID-19 crisis, globally speaking. Thank you so much, Dr. Sapna Jain, for joining us on the broadcast here on CNN News 18. Time for a quick break. News and updates continue on the other side. Stay tuned.